Okay, guys, I asked this question at the health conference we had yesterday at the gym. What if this is the fittest you're ever going to be? What if right now, wherever you're at, listening to this is the peak? You don't know it yet because you don't know the future, but this is as good as it gets. And I'll ask that rhetorically by asking myself that question. If you ask me, is this the fittest you're ever going to be? Is this the fittest you've ever been? Let's start there. And I would say this is as close. I don't have a peak, and that's going to kind of be my point with this. My fitness has generally improved as I've gotten older, with highs and lows along the way, but the graph is steadily going up. So yes, I would say this is about as fit as I've ever been. And first, let's just define fitness. So in the CrossFit world, we define it as work capacity, your body's ability to do work, and we measure that in a few different ways. But there's, work across all different time frames. So on that graph, we've seen, the bottom line being duration, the top line being power, and higher power at shorter time durations, lower power at longer time durations. But how much space is under that graph is how fit we are. But then you add another kind of three-dimensional line along that graph that is your lifespan. And guys, I will tell you that when I'm 70 years old, my ability to do a box jump onto a 24-inch box, yes, is affected by how active I've been. But is even more affected by all the stuff I do outside of the gym. How I've been sleeping, how I've been eating, how much sugar I've been eating, the general overall inflammation in my body that would affect my ligament, tendon, joint health. These things are all affected by all the other biomarkers that make my body biologically younger than someone else at 70, and that's what's going to contribute more than even the training to whether I can jump on that box. So yes, I may not be able to lift in some lifts as much as I've lifted before. You give me a Metcon that's more hip hinging and not as much running right now, and I might be able to get a PR. But I know my fasting insulin is really low. I know I have a very healthy heart, very healthy veins and arteries. I was told not that long ago that I have the colon of a 21-year-old, so I got that going for me. But I know internally, because of how I'm living in the stuff I'm putting in my body, that part of me is just as healthy as it's ever been. For the general public, when is your fitness peak going to happen? And I'm going to tell you it's somewhere between 17 and 24. And why is that? Because one, you just hit adulthood. So from a natural perspective, you are at your physical peak. You're at the biggest physical peak. You didn't earn that peak. All you did was grow up into an adult. If your physical peak is beyond that age, you had something directly to do with that, your behaviors. But without your any behaviors, that's when you're going to peak. And most of us, whether we play sports or not, are at our most active at that age. So when your body can fight off whatever you feed it and still look halfway decent, it has the most potential to do that at that age, and we are at our most active. And a lot of us have a coach, if you play sport, yelling at you to work harder in practice and go to bed early and eat more protein and these kind of things. And then you go off into life and no one's doing that anymore. And guys, I know a lot of people who peaked at this time and they don't get it because they don't think about it. They're not listening to this about it right now. But I can tell you, for all those people, there is a freight train coming that is called the age of 40 that runs them over, and they have no idea that it was coming at them. Because let me tell you, I know a lot of guys like that. I grew up with them playing sports, and a lot of them were better athletes than me playing sports. But yeah, all of a sudden you're eating like you always have, but you're getting older. You start getting the belly, your lower back starts hurting, you sit more than you used to all the time, and suddenly you're like, I don't know how I got here. They talk about how I used to be fit, but then I got busy with work and family, and you weren't fit. You were just young. That's all it was. When you're in your 20s, you can be fit by accident. It can really happen that way, but it's a fleeting mirage that has no foundation to give it staying power because you didn't do anything about it. And guys, that's my point. So is using that sports analogy of playing sports when you're young. Whatever sport it is, but let me talk about football. What's the difference between Pee Wee and then high school and then college and then professional football? Well, the quality of athletes, right? So the pressure and the stakes is higher, but it's the attention to detail. The attention to detail of a high school coach coaching a running back or a quarterback is not the same attention to detail as it is in the pros, and you're dealing with Tom Brady or somebody like that, Patrick Mahomes. Because the stakes and the pressure is higher, the competition is higher, their attention to detail on knowing the plays and play calling and all that has to be so much higher than the best high school athlete. And let me give you an example of this. Johnny Manziel. He could compete at the highest level in college. Beat Alabama, did a great job. And he was one, guys, yeah, his physical peak, his fitness peak was somewhere in his early 20s. Because he wasn't doing anything about it. He was just young, physically gifted, get around. He goes to the pros. His level of his attention to detail did not increase. And he blew out fast. Let me give you an example of the other side of that, a very personal one. So a picture came up on my phone the other day of my wife, Janelle, holding Scarlett. Scarlett was around 3 years old. So now Scarlett's 11, so this is about 8 years ago. So Janelle was, I don't know, 33 or 34. And guys, she looked great. She was very fit at that time. And I was looking at the picture, just think about it. A young wife with our young daughter. Looked great. I was excited every time I got to see her naked. It was wonderful. Let me tell you something, guys. When I thought about that picture compared to my current 41-year-old wife, in every way, she is more fit and better. She has more muscle. The lines, the contours of her muscle are more distinct on her legs, on her abs, on her arms, on her back. And I love all of them. And guys, you're going to have to trust me on this, but let me tell you, she's never looked better naked than she does right now, even though she's 8 years older than those other pictures. How did she get there? Was that just lucky? No, Janelle wasn't lucky. This wasn't genetics. This was attention to detail, and I get to see it happen. She eats cleaner than she ever has before. Weighs and measures, not all the time, but a lot of the time, her food. She is more active. Like, she deliberately goes on walks more with her vest. She drinks less than she ever has before. These are all the things I'm talking about the attention to detail it takes to get fit when you're older. What you used to do to be good at that point is not good enough anymore. What you did in college to be good at a sport is not good enough when you go to the pros for that sport. You have to graduate with your attention to detail, and that's what we all have to do. And guys, I wish I made the rules, because I wouldn't make the rules this way. But that's what it takes as you're getting older, or your fitness peak is behind you. We say age is just a number. I say that a lot too. I joke around. It's funny to say, but it's not true. You can be fit by accident at 24. You can maybe be decently fit in your early 30s with just a base level of work. If you are fit at 40 or 50 or 60, you have a high attention to detail. It did not happen by accident. And when people complain, there's nothing I could do, this is just part of getting old. No, you weren't fit before. You were just young. You had a coach yelling at you to get your ass off the couch and try and eat some more protein. That's all that was back then. You were never fit. So now you're just older and too lazy to do the work and attention to detail required to make you fit now. You know what is just a number? You know what? Okay. So saying age is just a number, it's not. It's significant. You know what is just a number? Is the date on the calendar. 2025 was a period of time. And we can very often view it as a beginning or end to something. And it is in regards to my taxes for the gym. But I think this mindset can be very harmful when it comes to being fit for life. It can be beneficial sometimes, but I think it is more often actually harmful. And let me explain to you why. So we just finished our first Workhorse challenge. You had to get to come to 250 classes in 2025. Two of the people that did it, Teresa and Alyssa, did great. And I know they both had to bust their butt to get to that 250 classes. They both came more in 2025 than they did the previous 2 years combined. So like for Teresa, she came more in 2025 than 2023 and 2024 put together. And same for Alyssa. And it shows. They both are older. They've never looked better since I've known them. Their performance in the gym, they're always doing the RX workouts. They're always close to the top of the leaderboard for the girls. They're doing great. I want 2026 for Alyssa and T to be more like 2025 than it was 2023 and 2024. And all that takes is them doing tomorrow what they've done for the last 365 days. Just do it another day. You don't need to worry about having a good 2026. Just worry about do tomorrow what I've been doing, because you're on a good streak. But it's easy for us when we get through these streaks of whatever, we've accomplished this and accomplished that, to give ourselves a break. I like how I'm feeling. I've done well. I can skip a couple workouts. I can kind of get a little loose with my diet. And guys, this is a huge trap that all of us have fallen into at various times and at various levels. Just how long it took us to get out of it. A lot of people never get out of it though. They fall into that trap of, I'm gonna reward myself with some laziness and gluttony, and they never get out of that trap. When you have gotten in a good rhythm with your working out lifestyle, it is so important that you keep that rhythm going, because it snowballs on you. All the things compound. All the work you did pays off, but you're always going to have to fine tune it. And that's why I say attention to detail. What was good enough in the past was not good enough in the future, but that doesn't have to do with a calendar. That just has to do with your body as it's aging. And if you're paying attention to that detail, you see that, like, okay, I haven't changed anything in my diet. I'm putting on a little weight. Why? Maybe because I'm older and something else is going to have to change. Another one who did great in 2025, Stacy Jones. Stacy changed vacations and plane flights to make sure she got her 250 classes. I don't want Stacy to be wishing in a year at the end of 2026, oh, I wish I could have back the beginning of 2026 after 2025. Had a great year, came to all those classes, decided I was just going to take it easy, and man, I wish I could have that back. It is during these times when life is going to get busy again, I don't feel well, I've got a lot of travels, making sure you put in the same diligence, that you schedule your workouts like meetings, that they are things you make. And sometimes you may have to schedule a late meeting in the day you don't want to have, but you have to have it. You may have to go to workouts at times you didn't want to go to. You may have to, change your plans to get it in. Go when you're overtired. Those workouts are never going to be the funnest. They are some of the most important, because they keep the ball rolling. They keep the rhythm going, and they don't let you start taking it easy on yourself. And one missed workout becomes 5 missed workouts. And this is where all 3 of those, T, Alyssa, Stacy, they got their mind right. There are plenty of reasons why I shouldn't be able to do this in 2025, but I'm going to figure out how I can. And they all figured out how they could get it done. That's how we figure out staying fit for life, is you figure out how you can make it happen. The reward of I'm just going to take it easy on myself, you're actually not rewarding, you're punishing yourself. You just don't pay that punishment until way down the road. It's one of those investments that that's a check I wrote that I'm going to have to cash with this body, but I'm not going to have to cash it for a long time, so I'm not worried about that. I've known a lot of I used to know a lot about bodybuilders back in more of my meathead days. The first couple gyms I went to were definitely meathead-y gyms. If I asked them when they peaked in fitness, they would all know. They would all know a day, and they would have a picture of it. And they'd show me, and I remember some of those pictures. I'd be like, man, that's really good. You look amazing. And what I'm saying is, holy cow, I would have never guessed that the person I'm looking at could look like this. To me, I know they were proud of it, but to me it was a little embarrassing. Like, you don't look anything like that right now. One of the best compliments I get, and I know a lot of you guys have gotten this compliment, is somebody asks me what I do, and I say I'm a gym owner, and they're like, oh yeah, that figures. Or the other day, a guy biked by me and was like, man, I got to do whatever you're doing for workouts. You guys know that feeling. It feels really nice to know the hard work I'm doing pays off, that the work I'm putting in, the results are showing. The evidence is here. All you need to do is look at me. I don't want any of us to be that person that, man, look at this picture of me when I was fit. And you're like, whoa, and you're looking at that person now and you're like, holy cow, that was a drop off. That happens one day at a time. That happens one meal at a time. That happens one, I'm going to take it easy because I've worked really hard for the past such and such time, so I deserve a little time off. That's how you get from that fit point to being the person that doesn't look anything like that. So for those of you that had a good 2025, 2026 is just another day. Tomorrow's just another day. What do? You just keep doing what you've been doing. And if you haven't been doing that, who cares the date on the calendar? Tomorrow can be the start of something. You don't have to worry about making it a good 2026. There's nothing you can do about that except making it a good right now and a good tomorrow. And just keep stacking those on top of each other. That way, you don't have a fit time frame or a fit period. Like that was my fit era, like we joke around. You're just a fit person because this is who you are. This is what you do. We put a lot of effort, I know I do as a business owner, put a lot of effort into stuff that doesn't pay off all the time. It just, and I will say that's the only way I put effort into things that do pay off is because I've done a lot of stuff and some of it paid off and some of it did. I don't view it as a waste of time. Either it worked or I got educated from it. I learned something from it. This is one area in your life that when you put in the work, it 100% will pay off. There is no doubt, there is no chance. The work you put on your diet and your exercise and your consistency and your effort will for sure pay off every day. Rewarding yourself with discipline and keep doing what you're doing and work hard is a reward. Rewarding yourself with laziness and gluttony is just a delayed punishment. So that way you don't have a peak. We don't have the peak. When I ask that question, you're like, I'm not going to have a peak. It's like one of those big high mesas in Arizona or Utah. My peak is just this really high plateau way up there and high in the air. And guys, that's where when you compare yourself to people from a fitness perspective, I guarantee if you're listening to this, if you go to King William District CrossFit, Metfix Southtown, you are the standard for everyone in your family. For everybody, all your friends that don't go to the gym and your family, you're the standard. And if you compare yourself to that standard, you can say, I'm doing pretty good. You are a good standard for them because you're further down the road and they need to aspire to be like you. When you compare down, it is very easy to say this is good enough when it's nowhere near good enough. And that's what I love about the CrossFit Open, guys. And, we're getting into that season. When I throw myself into the pool with a 50 to 54-year-old, 51 to 54-year-olds that are doing the Open, those are some hard MFers, I can tell you. All the guys that sign up for the Open at that age put a lot of work into their fitness, a lot of work into their diet, and they are hard SOBs. You throw me into a room of 100 other 51-year-olds anywhere in the world, I will stack up a lot of money saying I'm the fittest guy in the room. And that's not just that's not bragging. That's because of the standard that is out there in the world. I just would like my chance to be the fittest guy in that room. You throw me into a room of all the other 51-year-olds that do the CrossFit Open, I'm nowhere near the fittest guy in that room. That's the group I want to compare myself to. That's the standard. I already know if you signed up for the Open and at that age, you work really hard on your fitness. I'm not competing against all the people out there that don't even work out. Because let me tell you guys, the gap between me and my peer group of guys my age has never been wider, and it gets more wide every day. You look at a picture of me with my high school buddies or early college buddies, we're all just a bunch of dudes. We look the same. You find a picture of me now in that group, one of these things is not like the other. I stick out like a sore thumb because they have gone down that natural path, and yes, their fitness physique is way back there somewhere. I have taken a different road, and my fitness peak is right in front of me, and it shows big time when you're at this age. So to be the fittest version of yourself, yes, compare yourself in that sense to the people at the gym, or I would say at least use them as motivation. Use that as the standard, not the world, because yes, we're already doing way better than most of the people out there. Let's make 2026, this next 12 months, whatever it is, just more of the same, more of the good stuff. All right, guys, right on.